cold the last couple days. I just want to say that first, so I might sound a little congested. But just ignore that. Anyway, today I'm working on the itinerary for my upcoming trip. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a little tutorial kind of about how I write an itinerary for a trip, like a really good cohesive day by day itinerary. Tip number 1 though, before I get on the computer, is to not make your itinerary too complex, because that's just a recipe for disaster, okay? So, yeah. Most of this video is just going to be looking at my computer, and I'll kind of walk you through what I do. It's going to be mostly using Microsoft Word, or you could probably use like Excel or something if you're more versed in that. I don't really know how to use Excel, but so I'm using Microsoft Word and then Google Maps and like just Google in general. So here we go. If you have any of your own tips for making an itinerary, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, yada yada, etc., etc. Thanks. And let's go ahead and look on my computer. Okay, so here we are on my computer. As you can see, I have Google Maps open, and we are going to be looking at the Savannah, Georgia portion of my trip. So here we are in Savannah. All of these little things here are stuff I have saved. So the first thing you need to do when you start your itinerary is pretty much just open up Google and just search best things to do in blank. Or if you're a photographer like me, you can look up best places for photos in blank. And then just kind of do some research and figure out where you want to go. And every time you find where you want to go, you just save it onto a Google or on Google Maps. So for instance, this is just some restaurant. It's actually just somewhere I want to take a photo, not actually eat. Photographer life. But so, for instance, I have this all saved in train trip. Yeah. So you can just name your saved list whatever you want. After you have everything saved and you know where you want to go, you will open up Word. You will create a table like this. To do that, you'll go to Insert, Table, and then you can just decide however many blocks, or not blocks, but how many columns and rows you want. And then you can resize it to however big you want it to be. So this is my finished table for Savannah. I also have some for the other places I am going. I haven't done this one yet. But anyway, you'll go through and do titles in your columns. I don't have a lot of columns. You could add more if you need something else. So for the first column, I have place, which is obviously just the name of the place. And then I have price, which is the price of tickets, obviously. And then this column is tickets, ? That's if I need to buy tickets in advance, or if I need to do like a time ticket, even if the ticket's free. But if, like with COVID, a lot of places are doing timed entries. So if you have to do either a timed entry or if you have to buy tickets in advance. Just in general, even if you don't have to buy a ticket in advance, I would suggest buying tickets in advance just because it saves time later. So that's what that is about. And then hours, obviously, and then this asterisk, for me, this is just noting that it's somewhere where I just want to take a photo and leave, which pretty much means I'm not going to include it in the like written itinerary, but it is here just as a note. You can also do whatever you want. You can make this mean whatever you want it to mean. Maybe that it's a must-see place or whatever. I mean, I can't really think of any other reason, but... And then again, like I said, you can make more columns if you need more columns. And so and then you make however many rows. You'll have to add more rows probably, depending on how many places you want to go. And then you just kind of fill this out. To get this information, you pretty much just use Google Maps. So again, you go to the place you have saved, scroll down. You can get their hours right here, but this is not always perfectly accurate. Again, sometimes because of COVID, sometimes there have just been changes and it hasn't been updated on here. One instance that I found while doing this is this cathedral right here. If you click it down here, it says it's open 9 to 5, closed Sunday. But when I actually go to the website, which is kind of what I'm trying to get at, is that you should use the website. Most of them will have a website listed. But when I went to the website for that cathedral, you find that it's actually closed from like 11:30 to 12:30 or something. So I included that information on here. So that's why you should go to the website of the place. Plus, you can just get more information about like if there's tours, and then obviously the ticket information, price information. You pretty much have to go to the website to look at that. And most websites for tourist places will have a little tab or whatever that says like visit us or plan a trip or something like that. And you can figure that out. Okay, so now if you look at what I chose for Savannah, there are some places where it's just like a little hyphen. That means that there's nothing. So like price, it's free, no tickets, no hours, or open 24 hours. So yeah, this is basically the filled out list. Most things luckily are free. Yeah. So after you have your chart filled out, you'll do this. This is the actual written itinerary that I have. So I am starting in Savannah. Here is what we're talking about today. So I just kind of put the dates up here just so I knew like ahead of time. And then I wrote all of this out first for each one. So I just put like day 1 in the city, not for the trip in general. And then the day of the week, and then the actual day. And then I just wrote all of those down, and then I filled in under each of those headings what I wanted to do based on what I have on the list. So I'm definitely, when I travel, an early bird. Otherwise, I sleep until noon when I'm not like on a trip. Well, maybe not noon, but anyway. But I like to be at places like when they open because there's less people usually. If it's somewhere I want to go for photos, then it's better light and less people. Keeping that in mind, we look at the itinerary down here. So you'll just kind of go back and forth between your table and your actual itinerary and just kind of figure this out. I did do this one a little bit differently than I usually do, but that's because I'm trying not to be too specific, like I said at the beginning. There have been times where I've written itineraries and it was like hour by hour, and it's just impossible to do it like that because you really don't know how long you're going to spend at a place or if you're going to actually get there exactly at the time you want to be there. Especially like in Savannah, I'm pretty much walking everywhere, so I don't know exactly how long it's going to take me to walk, etc. So I only included times if it's an opening time. So if it's somewhere I want to be at opening, then I included the opening time. Or if it's like a train or something, then I included the time on my train ticket, obviously. But otherwise, I did not include times. Another tip is to do only like 1 or 2 big things per day. So usually I will try to do a major thing like in the morning and then in the afternoon/evening. And then if I have time to do stuff in between, I can always, just kind of wing it, I guess. So let's just take a little better look. I arrive on Sunday, but that's kind of a weird day because it's an arrival day. But if you move down to a different day, let's look at like day 3. Here I have Chippewa Square. And then like 10 a.m. is when the Julia Gordon-Low birthplace opens. So I want to try to be there at opening. And then after that, just kind of wander or take photos, which is not very specific as far as itineraries go. But like I said, I'm a photographer, so I like to just kind of wander around and take photos. And if you look on my Google Maps, I have a lot of places that are marked. Probably more than half of these are just places I want to take some photos. So I did not specifically include all of them on here. So anywhere it says just wander, like wander. Pretty much almost every day it just says wander at some point. That's when I'm just going to be walking around taking photos of stuff. This is maybe a little complex. I don't know. But I just find that this is nice. Maybe some people don't really do itineraries when they go on a trip, but I definitely like to do this. And then once you have everything written down and you know what day you're going to do stuff, then you can buy tickets in advance. So like I needed tickets for this and for this. So now I know what day I'm going to be there, so I know what day to buy the ticket for. So that helps. And obviously you don't have to follow the itinerary word for word when you actually get there either, especially if you find out a new place you want to go or whatever. But I just like having my trips a little organized, and it helps with like my anxiety to know exactly where I need to be and at what time and stuff. Like for instance, down here I have like bus 10, so I know what bus to take. You can include stuff like that. Like I said, I'm mostly walking though, but up here I have like take taxi. I need to figure out what bus it is back to the train. They don't have buses on Sunday, which is why I have to take a taxi, which sucks. I hate paying more. But yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it. If you want to look at some of the other days, I have Washington, D.C. That's just a lot of museums. And then I have Vermont, which is a bunch of state parks pretty much. But yeah, that is it. I don't know if this was helpful. If it was, let me know in the comments. Or if you want maybe a more in-depth video. I have no idea what that would look like, but let me know. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for listening to my sick, cold voice. Hopefully you got some information out of this, I guess. I never know how to end videos, so peace out. Bye.